Hello my gorgeous makeup loving friends, how's it going? Welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, hi, my name is Teresa. I love all things makeup, beauty and skincare, so that's what this channel is all about. Just me talking about the shit that I'm actually interested in. And today I actually do have a new palette. It's the Abscission palette by Arttitude Cosmetics. Now I did receive this in PR because I am an affiliate with the brand. I have a code. It's Teresa 10 and it gets you money off, but I also earn a commission, right? Let's make that super clear, be super transparent. It's not that difficult, but it's coming out November 2nd and this is what the palette looks like. She's beautiful. It's an absolutely stunning palette. I believe this is maybe the 5th palette that Arttitude Cosmetics has come out with. I want to say 5. 5 seems about right, but it's very autumnal. I think it's absolutely stunning. I mean, the colour story is a bit of me, but you always have to remember I am an affiliate, so take what I'm saying with a pinch of salt. Do your research before you go off and buy things. This is the look that I came up with, so if you want to see an overall tutorial and a review of the palette, that's what this video is, so do please keep on watching. I believe that it's usually at this point that a YouTuber apologises for their skin. I'm not going to, because I'm a human being and this is just what happens. Let's actually just act like these sort of things are normal, because they are. Anyways, I did this particular look. You can't see it that well when I have the glasses on, but I just thought it was something a little bit more kind of my usual aesthetic. And I'll be honest, I wanted to put as many of these shadows through their paces as possible. I'm making it difficult for you, rooks. You're not getting it easy with me. Anyways, I took this blank canvas E10 and I went into the shade Let Go, which is a lovely sort of a grungy kind of poopy green, which I personally enjoy. And this is quite a nice, buildable, blendable shade. Now, I've been very naughty. I've had this for about 2 weeks and haven't played with it yet. She just revealed what the palette looked like yesterday, and I have been up to my eyeballs with lots of other things, so I didn't get a chance to do it. And I feel very bad about that, because I mean, she's kind enough to send it to me in PR. Like, that's an investment from her. Like, this is stock. So I've gotten around to it, Rooks. I'm very sorry about the delay. I would say it won't happen again, but I am a disaster of a human being. You can see there, you get a decent amount of pigment, but what is more important to me is that it's blending. And for me, I mean, you could whack on a bunch of pigment and it could just end up sticking there and just leave a mark, but it doesn't do that, which I personally am very happy with. So I'm just kind of bringing it in here towards kind of like halfway through to the eyeball. But I do cut it out, so don't worry about that. I'm not going to cut it in front of you because that sounded really wrong, but it's boring and nobody needs to see that and me kind of attempting to work with concealers, etc. But we get a nice level of colour there, nothing too surprising there, because Arttitude are really good when it comes to their colour formulations. And I feel like the last couple of colour stories that we've seen from her in terms of her palettes, she's really like, I don't know, she's breaking out of things. Like, I feel like there's a lot of growth with her. She's getting that bit more comfortable with her formulas. She's knowing who she is as a brand. Like, it can take a while for a brand to get to know what their aesthetic is, what the brand is about. And I feel like over the last 2 to 3 launches with Arttitude, it's really so much more clear who they are as a brand. And for me, I like that. I like when you look at it, something and kind of go, oh yeah, that's clearly this brand. And I'm getting that now with Arttitude. I'm taking a Morphe M562 and I'm going into the shade Deadweight. And I'm just kind of popping it here and under, almost like a little line. Now, I really love that this is both autumnal, but there's a lot of shades in here, like those kind of berry tones that are also like very Christmassy. So I feel like this translates across 2 seasons, which I appreciate. Not that I wear shades according to seasons. I just kind of do whatever the F I feel like. But I think that was very smart, very strategic of her. And I just love anything that's a bit autumnal, if I'm 100% honest. Autumn is my favourite. I know, how basic am I? Like, I'm a girl who likes autumn. Who would have thought? Anyways, I went for like a walk in the woods with my friend Kezia, who came to see me, and that was so much fun. We went to Tintern Abbey, and they do like apple picking and stuff, but because it was like one of the last days that they're open, all the apples were gone. What a surprise. But we bought some apple cider and some apple juice, which we forgot to drink. She's gone now, and I have her apple cider in the fridge. And I bought one for Sahil, which he did drink. But I haven't had my apple juice yet, but I'm very interested in trying it. But whenever I have apple juice, my skin always breaks out. That's not what this is. That was something else. But yes, look at that. Like, it's a deep shade, but we're getting a lot of blendability, good amount of pigment. I don't know, I feel like she's really worked on her formula. And I always liked her formula, like even from going all the way back to like the Colour Splash, which was one of her first palettes. But I feel like there's been an evolution. And I like that because this is where we see brands really struggling, where they just kind of go, oh, we'll do the same thing over and over and over and over again. Urban Decay, looking at you. And I feel like it's such a big thing when an indie brand kind of goes, okay, we're going to invest in trying to make this a bit better. We're going to change this, we're going to change that. And I know behind the scenes from like the last palette, Manny's, just how much work goes into like getting that formulation right. So like kudos. So far, really nice. And now taking a BH106, which is sort of like a little pencil brush. So use whatever you have. And I'm going into the shade Leaves, which is almost like a primary green, which normally I'm like, but I don't know, there's something about the tone of this that does quite appeal to me, so I wanted to mesh it all together. And here is where you'll see, with very minimum effort, how easily it blends. I'm blending with a pencil brush, like shut up. So I'm just bringing that up there and just smashing it in. And it does just merge pretty easily. Obviously I have to take my time with it. But you start to see, obviously, because they're both greens, that there isn't like a major issue in getting them to blend together. Like there's a really nice transition there within a couple of seconds. I appreciate that. I'm a busy lady. I don't have time to be messing around. I mean, I do, but whatever. And I have literally no idea what this brush is, but it's just a little flat packing brush. And I'm going into the shade Crisp. Now, I swatched this on Releases and Rants. It's so beautiful, so beautiful. So I wanted to include it, but I didn't want it to be the big thing because you know me, I just do an all green look and I didn't want to kind of default to that either. So I'm very loosely putting that on. I didn't want it to take over. You could have it take over, but again, this is why I'm putting it on this way. And she did again show on her story, she has these silicone applicators, which I'm gonna have to get, lads. I love silicone applicators, but she showed, you know, the difference obviously between like applying these sort of shades with a silicone applicator versus a brush. So if I was applying this with a silicone applicator, I would not get this effect. It would be much more like wabam, which is kind of like how you're meant to do it. But for this, I wanted to still be able to see the mattes underneath. So the brush made sense for the effect that I was attempting to get here. So now I'm just going to cut this out in a weird shape. Going to try and have it match this. Operative word, try. And we'll do the next bit together. So now that I've cut this out and put down some new eye primer, I am taking my Zoeva 238. You know how much I love it. And I'm going into the shade Renew, which I actually think is basically my skin tone. Like it's nuts. Like this is me as a person. So if you get this palette and you've always wondered, I wonder how pale Teresa actually is. I'm this shade, Renew. I wonder if I can like put that down like anytime I'm looking for like a foundation anymore. Just be like, okay, so if you look at the Abscission palette by Arttitude, you know the shade Renew? That's me, that's my skin. Probably a bit better than me saying I'm like Casper the Friendly Ghost. But considering it's so pale, you're still getting like a decent amount of pigmentation here. So I really, personally, appreciate that. By the way, in the interim that I was like just cutting the crease, I've been listening to the Britney Spears Audible. Oh my God. That girl, she deserves a fucking public apology from many people. Many people. It's fascinating. Is anyone else listening to that? I also finished listening to the new Buffyverse thing, which I was like, so exciting. And now another Zoeva 238, and now I'm going into the shade Journey. Such a beautiful shade. Do you know what I think when I look at this palette? I feel like this in general works really well alongside the Man-Eater. Like I feel like this is a really nice companion palette. Of course, in saying that, you don't have to use it as a companion palette. It's pretty clear it works as a standalone. But, you know, a lot of people like to use palettes together, and I totally support that decision. Look at the level of like pigment that you're getting there. It's really good. Quite happy with that. I love that she went for like blue here because it's so unexpected for something that's like autumnal. I wouldn't have kind of thought of putting something like that in there at all, which is why I'm not a brand owner. I just get enthusiastic about makeup. So we're just gonna whack that on to my very hooded eyelids. I have all these ideas about shapes that I want to do on my eyes, and then my eyes are like, Teresa, I don't think you recognize where we are with things in terms of your physiology. And I'm like, God damn it. Well, look, it's all very first world problems. I'm going to try and edit this video the day that I've filmed it, which is a Tuesday. So it might go out later because whatever it is with my fucking internet or YouTube, it seems to take a while for things to process, and it has really been bugging me. I know, first world problems, get over it, Teresa, but still. And I have a bunch of like new makeup release videos to talk about. And I am going to film this, but I'm not sure if you necessarily want it, so tough. But there's this little indie brand, and they basically make sustainable jewellery from like odds and ends. It's kind of cool. And they're based in Australia. And I met them through Robert Welsh's YouTube community, and they were on Twitch, etc. And they were saying like, oh, I do this. And I was like, I want to see. So they like make some fantastic jewellery. And I just said, look, make whatever you want, send it to me, I will pay you. So I have no idea what they've made, except that it is earrings. I have no idea of the shapes, the colours, etc. So it'll be like an unboxing of stuff. I think it's 3 sets of earrings, which I'm so excited about. And it was actually quite inexpensive. I think it was like $50 for something that's like handmade. I mean, I'm here for it, and I'm all for like supporting creativity. I'm taking this Suva 350 and I'm going into the shade New Beginnings. I know it looks really weird at first, but just stay with me, okay? It kind of makes sense when you see it all together, kind of. It's just typical Teresa. We're just giving it all a bit of a bash as we go along. I just thought it was kind of interesting, a little bit different. Not quite the norm of what I would usually do. And I'm just kind of popping that up there. A little bit down there. Nothing very precise. It's all fine. And then I have this fabulous little brush that I got from Cosmic Brushes. I mean, they're actually named, but look, little glitter bits. I got it when I got the Gothic palette, which I still haven't filmed with. I'll do it at some point when the mood strikes me. And I am just blending this in because I wanted something a little bit less harsh. But you can see how that pale shade actually manages to mesh quite nicely with the blues. What is it? New Beginnings and... can't remember what the blue is called because my brain is stupid. But you can see it there. Like, look, that blends quite nicely. I'm quite pleased with it. And look, I'm lazy and it's not like super difficult. Hurrah! Oh, I love it when I don't have to work hard at a blend. I know some people love blending and they're there at it for days. My goodness, you're such fabulously patient people. I don't have it in me. I just don't. Even though I know it'll be better for me, it's like essentially like a form of self-care. I'm just there kind of going, no! I have no time! Such a terrible character flaw. sauce. I'll try to be better, but I probably won't. I have another Cosmic Brushes brush here as well. It's like a really nice lilac. And I'm just going to blend between these here. This was a little bit trickier to blend, but I actually had no issue with it on the other eye. So, and the other eye, by the way, is always really weird. Whatever it is with my skin around here, it kind of struggles to grip eyeshadow even when I have an eye primer down. I don't know. I think that's like my scaly bit of my eye. I know, I've never seemed so sexy, have I? But you can see there, you get it actually blended pretty easily. Like, this is what I'm saying. I'm like, oh, it's a little bit trickier, but like not by much. And you still get to keep all of the pigmentation. It doesn't really go anywhere, which I appreciate. I know I could have done like liner to separate these out, but I kind of feel like that's almost like my safe space to try and make a clean line. But I was like, no, let's not do that this time. Let's try and do a clean line without that. Let's just have the shadows separating each other. I thought that could look a bit more interesting. Who knows? Will I keep it that way? We don't know. We don't know. But I like how that has blended without any major issue, actually. Now, this is where a silicone applicator is really, really helpful. I do have my NYX one, which is grand. I love it. I will 100% be getting the Arttitude Cosmetics ones. I obviously can't use my code for that because, you know, you can't use your own code when you're buying things. It's weird and it's not allowed. Naughty, naughty. So if anyone is watching who's also an affiliate, will you let me know and I can use your code? Okay, thanks. My code, by the way, is Teresa10. But I'm using this and I'm going into the shade Daylight. And you see when you use a silicone applicator that you just get a slightly better application. And I like this one because it gives me a little bit of precision. I'm literally just kind of putting it here. There we go. So it's like highlighting the inner corner. I always do one eye better than the other. Anybody else? Do you see how it gives that little pop? But it's nothing like major. And then the next bit, I'm just using a gross old finger. Well, 33-year-old finger. And I'm going into the shade Seasons. Now, this is a little bit crumbly, okay? There's like, it's not quite flaky, but hopefully you can see there is like sort of a texture to it. So keep that in mind. It may not work for all eyelids. And I'm just popping that there. Look at that. Oh, trying to bring it up to the top as well. Oh, that is just, that makes me want to weep. And then I'm just taking a Suva 410 just to gradually disperse that. I mean, it's so beautiful. Very happy with that. It's a very, very pretty shimmer. I like it. Now I'm just going to cut out the rest of that. We're almost there. We've done well. We're on this journey together. Okay, so we've done out that particular shape. I am now using the Zoeva 238. It's a new one because I love them. And I'm going into the shade Maple. And I'm literally just filling it in here. It's almost like a paint by number thing. Look at that pigment. It just turns up so, so well. Ah, love it. So excited by this. Oh, she's just a really nice shade. We get really nice amount of pigment. Like I said, I don't want to do any liner here because I want to have the shadows kind of speak for themselves. I don't want to kind of do the whole like, look over here, look over here. Because I actually just think they're pretty as they are. Don't know if I've managed to get the two eyes to match. Probably not. Fuck it, it's close enough. Sorry for swearing. But also I'm a 33-year-old woman. So, you know. And this channel is not designed for tiny humans. If you're a tiny human watching this, go to bed. You know? I just love this winey shade. This makes me think of Christmas. Is that a weird thing to say? It really, really makes me think of Christmas. Like a mulberry, like winey, like, oh, just beautiful. So, so pretty. Look at how easily that went on. Like, that's ridiculous. How has she done? How did you do it, Rooks? How? Now, all I'm doing is, and I know this seems really weird, I'm just taking this Morphe brush and I am using the shade Renew, and I'm just kind of popping that along the edges because I want to diffuse that a little bit further. You can see, and this is technically like, it should be a very, very difficult shade to diffuse, but it's not actually very difficult. Now you do get the harsh line, so keep that in mind. You will have to spend a little bit longer to diffuse that, but because you see I'm kind of cutting that off, it's not a massive issue to me personally, so I don't mind it. That shade is actually brilliant for like blending out for me because, as I said, it is my skin tone, so it really helps me to transition things a little bit more clearly. Oh, so pretty. Makes it sound like I'm like saying that I myself am pretty. No, I'm saying that the eyeshadow is pretty. Let me be very clear. So as you can see, I do have a little bit of a harsh line, but it's because I packed it on. Let's be real, like that's to do with the method that I was using, not necessarily the shadow. I am now taking a blank canvas E10 and I'm going into the shade Maple again because I want to diffuse that bit out a little bit more and also pack in a little bit more colour. So you can see it kind of helps with that and takes out some of the harshness. And just bring it down here ever so slightly. I don't know why I'm saying it that way. Who knows? Who knows? I'm just swishing it around. I ordered some my Kitco brushes in the sale and they were like 50% off, which I was like, yay. But I got the DHL thing and they were like, here, spend €70 to get the brushes that you've just paid 100 and whatever euro on. And I'm like, oh my God. Like I bought like €200 worth because I'm stupid. But I've heard like really good things and I was like, okay, let's try these. But yeah, I was like, what the hell? Like, I can't get over that. It was like €71.82 that I had to pay in like taxes, etc. I have a funny feeling they didn't put down the sale price of the brushes, that they just put down like the general price of what they would usually cost, which I'm like, that's not nice. Damn you. Because that seems excessive. Because I think I spent like €189 or something like that. And 71 seems like a really big proportion of that. So you can see we're getting a little bit more softness out here. But again, we're not going to worry about it because see how I've kind of cut over here. And now I'm just taking a BH Cosmetics Precision brush and I am just smooshing along here. I have nothing taken on it. I just wanted to kind of blend this that little bit further. I feel like it's a very Mad Hatter sort of colour, which I really appreciate. I am taking this Zoeva, I think it's the 235. I love it. My friend Daniela gave it to me. And I'm going into the shade Detachment. Now, I love that they put a black in here. You know my feelings. I've said before, I feel like every palette needs a black. But that's because I'm weird. And I do feel like it works really well with this colour story. So I'm just kind of putting it there and blending it. I just like that it deepens it out a little bit more, makes it a bit more like yum yum yum. A bit more sultry, a bit more sexy. At least that's my thought. Who knows? It mightn't actually look like that to you. You may be sitting there going, Teresa, it was trash. In which case, fair enough, my friends. Fair enough. We may all agree to disagree. It is fine. So you can see that the addition of the black kind of give it a little bit more vampiness. Now again, I'm using another silicone applicator. I love them. And I'm going into the shade Abscission, which is what the palette is named after. And I'm just using the side of that applicator to pick up the shadow. And I'm just kind of popping it along here. I love that she put together apparently a linery sort of one. And I'm like, okay, that's a bit of me. I like that. And I'm just kind of popping that there. I mean, ugh, just adds a little bit of extra dimension. Ugh, I really feel like her shimmers are like just getting better and better. Her mattes are doing really great. I've seen like a huge like advancement in that. So if you've liked her mattes before, I feel like you'll like them even more now because they're getting better. Who knew she had room for improvement? Very proud of her. Well done, Rooks. And there we go, that's it all cleaned up. So I'm going to finish off the rest of my makeup and I'll show you what it looks like at the end along with a review. I am back and I finished the rest of my makeup now. To be totally transparent, I also used this Half Magic glitter and it's in the shade Microcosm, which is such an interesting one, and it's sort of a holographic glitter, and I just kind of put it around the edges there. So in case you're wondering what that sparkle is, that's what the story is. But I'm going to zoom you in now so you can see this look as it is. It feels like she basically took some of my favorite colors, blues, greens, and those sort of winey, purpley colors, and shoved them all together in an eyeshadow palette. I also took the brown and put it just underneath here as well, just to kind of zhuzh it all up together. I think it looks nice. But obviously you can see it in greater detail. I added a half lash. Now she's coming out with half lashes herself. However, the lashes that I'm using right now are not hers, so just keep that in mind. I believe hers are a lot more dramatic than the ones that I currently have on. Okay guys, so I figured I would show you this under just the ring light so you could really see some of those shimmers, and I feel like it comes out that little bit more obviously. I'm going to zoom you in now so you can see what it looks like. That's right friends, we are uncomfortably close. You can really see the shimmers there and some of kind of the reflex. I think it looks beautiful. Just as an FYI, I did add a little bit of glitter in case you're wondering what that is. And this is what it looks like without the glasses. I feel you can see that the blend is really, really nice. It all merges together very, very nicely. So that leads us to the review portion of this particular video. What did I think of Abscission? I feel like this is a really, really beautiful palette. It works very, very well. I also feel like it's a nice companion palette to the Maneater. In saying that, right, if you have the Maneater, you probably have some shades in here that are similar, not dupes, but similar. So if you have that and you're loving it and you're kind of questioning whether or not to get that, just consider that you may be able to get a very similar-esque look to it, not an exact dupe. But if you're trying to save yourself some money, you could probably skip out on it on that basis alone. Like they have a good black, they have that sort of a tealy shade in there, there is that green in there. Again, not an exact dupe of what was in the Maneater, but there's some parallels. There's some really interesting multi-chrome shades in here as well, like the shade Abscission. I showed that on releases and rants, and honest to God, I'd just do one look with that. Just put a bit of black on. It's beautiful. I like that there's like bits of neutrals in here. That shade is like nuts. That's actually my actual shade. I've put on a lot of colour to make myself look like a human being. What do I think of this? I think it's absolutely stunning. I like that it's kind of very, very clearly an Arttitude Cosmetics palette. Like you're looking at that and kind of going, yeah, okay, this makes sense. I feel like the brand is more finding its way now. What would I rate it out of 10? I think I would give it a 9 out of 10. The reason why I'm taking one mark off is nothing to do with the quality. I think the quality is fantastic, but I think it's similar to the Maneater. And it's very, very difficult to kind of come out with something so soon afterwards and have some parallels to it. Again, not an exact dupe, but I think you could make a similar-ish eye look like with this and with the Maneater. So I mean, it's perfect for me. I love it. But if you're looking to save yourself some money and you already have the Maneater, you probably don't need this. If, however, you are an Arttitude Cosmetics fan and you love this sort of a colour story, let me just assure you that the quality is exactly what you would expect. If anything, I feel like she's just amping it up with each release. Like everything worked really well. That black, it's nice. Very, very well done. So I'm really glad that she's like including a black in every palette. I think she's just listened to me too often, kind of going, I feel like there should be a black in every palette. Don't always listen to me. I don't really know what I'm talking about, but I love it. The big question is, if, God forbid, anything happened to my makeup collection, let's just hope it never does, would I go and repurchase this? Because obviously I got this in PR, so it's not like I bought this with my own money. Would I go and buy this with my own money? I would. I really, really enjoy this. And there's some things that I'm looking for from the collection anyway, in particular those bloody applicators. Like, those are a bit of me, but I really, really like this. If you've been kind of questioning whether or not you want to get this and are wondering about the formula, for me, it worked really, really great. But again, don't base your purchases on just one review. You know that. Go and check out other people. But I really enjoyed it. But that, my gorgeous friends, is the end of the video. Do please like, comment and subscribe. Turn on that notification bell and do please share, because sharing is caring, except of course for STDs, in which case, just wrap it up, don't be gross. But that's it, that's the end of the video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.